Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube page. I'm continuing my Week 14 NFL predictions and previewing every game this week. You can always catch me on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. That's at SNewsAnalysis. We'll now transition to the Bills-Rams game being played up in Orchard Park, New York. Both the Bills and the Rams coming off of impressive wins last week. The Bills taking care of the lowly Jaguars 34-18. And the Rams, probably their best win of the season, beating their division leader, San Francisco 49ers, in overtime due to a Greg Zuerlein 54-yard field goal to win it. So both coming into this game on a relatively high note. The Bills come in with a record of 5-7 overall. The playoffs hope still faintly flickering here. They would need about 3 or 4 teams to completely collapse for them to have a chance. But nonetheless, we like what we saw from the Bills last week. We like that they committed to the run. I've been big with the Bills all year that they were kind of a team on offense that was confused as far as where they wanted to go. In the last 2 years, they've been a very pass-happy team. Most of that due to the fact that they were behind in a lot of games early. I think, though, when games are closer in the beginning, their game plan should be as it was last week to get their, I think their two best players on offense, Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller, more involved. You saw that last week. They rushed for over 200 yards combined, those two, and really led the Bills to that 34-18 win. The Bills, still faint playoff hopes. They've missed the playoffs 12 years in a row, which is the most for any team. But we really look for them at home this week to be able to establish the run against the Rams. Some injuries for the Bills. Their center, Eric Wood, is likely going to be out for this game. And Stevie Johnson and their 2 starting cornerbacks are also questionable as well. That's why we think it's even more important for them to establish the run early here. Their defense, which was a unit that was much maligned at the beginning of the season, is coming on in the last 3 games. In the last 3 games, they're only giving up 244 yards per game on average. It's a classic case of a defense needing to mesh as the season goes on. A lot of times you make high-priced free agent acquisitions, and it takes a little while for those pieces to mesh. I think you're seeing that happen in the last 3 games. I think you'll continue to see it happen in the final 4 games of the season. And that'll kind of be a good note to go into next season on for the Bills. As far as the Rams go, 5-6-1. You have a chance this week to win 3 straight games, and they haven't done so since 2006, which is actually an eye-opening stat when you think about it. Last week, they come off that win against the 49ers, another overtime game, another emotional game. The last time they came off of an emotional game versus the 49ers, the game in which they tied, they came out with a lackluster performance. So we'll see what happens this time. It'll be a sign of maturity for the team if they do come out and play well this week in Buffalo. Some things to watch out for the Rams. They have 13 sacks in the last 4 games. Their pass rush that they've put a lot of money into, spent a lot of draft picks on, looks like it's finally paying dividends for the Rams. They took advantage of miscues last week, and that was huge. And, that's the mark of a good team. You turn the other team over, and then you cash it in for points. They took advantage of the option pitch, the failed option pitch at Kaepernick, and then also took advantage of the safety as well when Kaepernick pretty much backed up 17 yards into his own end zone. So can they put pressure on Fitzpatrick? We think they absolutely can. The Bills' offensive line, if there's one thing they're a little bit less than adequate in, it's probably the pass blocking department. And not to mention the Rams just have good personnel on the defensive line. My question is, though, will they even be able to put the Bills in consistent 3rd and long situations, maybe even 2nd and long situations, to be able to have that pass rush do its thing? I'm actually looking for the Bills to come out and establish the run early. The crowd will be really involved. I think they'll be incredibly motivated in this game. And I think the Bills get out to an early lead, establish the run, and are never in the situation where Ryan Fitzpatrick has to throw the ball 45, 50 times. And I think that's where the Bills need to be and where the Bills want to be as an offense. And at home, -3 versus the Rams. I like the Bills in this game as a home favorite against the Rams at -3. I'm expecting a little bit of a letdown from the Rams. Not that they won't play hard, but just such an emotional win last week. And they're a young team who hasn't proven they can have an emotional game and come back the next week and win. And never mind, win on the road, which is hard for a young team to do anyway. So I'll take the Bills -3 at home this week. We'll be previewing the rest of the Week 14 games here on our YouTube page, so be sure to check it out. And again, Bills -3 at home versus the Rams. Thank you.